Good morning. Come on in, everybody. I'm going to wait a little bit so everybody could get in. We are streaming this from YouTube. But to watch the debate directly without my commentary and without the chatter of other people can make it a little boring. So let's watch it together, shall we? Good morning, everybody. Come on in. I hope you got your coffee. I hope you got your patience. This should be good. I saw some clips, but I didn't really focus in on them because, I wanted to do this with you guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We'll wait a couple more minutes and then we'll get started. Come on in. Thank you guys for the hearts. Thank you guys for the gifts. I appreciate y'all. Good morning, good morning. Remember, it's a work day, so y'all will probably hear my email going off. But I've marked myself as busy so I don't get interrupted. Hopefully no emergencies. Hey, Big Bird. Hopefully no emergencies will arise. Come on in. Come on in. You got your thumbs ready? Oh, you love the keyboard? Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, that's my grocery list. Good morning, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. We're going to wait a couple minutes before we hit the play button. I didn't know these debates were taking place on yesterday, or you guys know I would have been in while it was going live, but I work. That's all I can tell you. I work. Somebody asked what type of work I do. I work. And I work hard. So yesterday they had a debate with Raphael Warnock, the Libertarian, running for that seat, and supposed to have been Herschel Walker, but he didn't show up. If you saw my little video that I did, baby, the moderator was throwing shade. But I did watch some of that debate before, I caught the tail end of it because I had just realized what was going on. Hey, Muscles. And I didn't know these debates was happening. And Raphael Warnock seemed to be more on top of it in that debate. He had a few more zingers in that debate. He was holding Herschel Walker's feet to the fire in the little bit I saw with that debate. Maybe he needed to warm up. I don't know. Or was it that Herschel Walker wasn't standing there in his face? I don't know. But I will share the link to that debate and you guys can go back and watch it if you want to. I'm not going to watch it because Herschel Walker wasn't there. All right, y'all, let's hit the play button and watch this debate. It's only 30 minutes long. I'm guessing it's only 30 minutes long because they did a series of debates yesterday.
Hello, I'm Karen Greer, anchor with WSB-TV in Atlanta. Welcome to the Atlanta Press Club Roanoke Young Debate Series from the studios of Georgia Public Broadcasting. This is the general election debate among candidates for Congressional District 14. Now, 14 is located in northwest corner of the state. It includes Paulding County, parts of Cobb, and extends up to Dade and Catoosa counties. Let's meet the candidates for this debate. They are in
when it comes to these
order.
days,
Flowers,
the Libertarian is Republican.
And has worked for the State Department and Department of Defense. Marjorie Taylor Greene, a Republican, is the incumbent congresswoman from District 14. Now let's meet our panelists. John Druckenmiller is the publisher for Hometown Headlines, now part of the Times Journal, Inc. media group, based in Rome, Georgia. And Josh Rowe is an anchor with WTVC in Chattanooga. For complete rules on today's debate, please visit the Atlanta Press
Karen,
Club website.
You look good, girl. You got all dolled up.
Debates. To start the debate,
yes,
each candidate will be asked one question by each panelist. Candidates have 60 seconds to answer each question. John Druckenmiller, you get the first question to Marcus.
What? Okay, we'll venture into that when this is done.
We know what our time to demand this is and what it means to your lives, so thank you for doing this. First question, I believe, goes to Mr. Flowers. Mr. Flowers, nearly 20 Republicans and 20 Democrats have run against Ms. Greene in the last 2 elections, 20 candidates total. Each one has had a strategy that has been, I am not MTG. In your race, in the last week alone, 37 emails have come to our Rome News Tribune server from your candidate, from your account, saying the same thing, I'm not MTG. What is your platform?
Well, thank you for that question, John. First and foremost, I am running as Marcus Flowers, not Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Okay.
You know, I got into this campaign because of the events of January 6th and Congresswoman Greene's participation in that. You know, this is about so much more than just having a representative who doesn't represent our district, but it's about our democracy. Not running as MTG has never been my platform. Yes, people see that we have an outsized social media account, but that's not the secret sauce of this campaign. We've knocked over 70,000 doors in our district, had those real conversations with the people of Northwest Georgia, our local leaders, our mayors, our commissioners, our city council members, and yes, our law enforcement officials. And every one of them that I've talked to, almost to a person, has said Marjorie Taylor Greene is not who they want representing them. So yes.
Oh God, an ad's coming. Hold on.
Marcus Flowers.
What is the real story?
Sorry,
of January
y'all. I can't
6th?
get around
Many
this,
people
but
have asked that
we're
question.
gonna cut this out.
Some people.
Not MTG. Thank you.
Joshua, it's your turn.
I need a rebuttal to that. You cannot accuse me of insurrection. I was a victim of the January 6th riot just as much as any other member of Congress. That was the 3rd day I had on the job. I had nothing to do with what happened there that day, and I will not have you accuse me of that. That is wrong of you to do. You're lying about me, and you will not defame my character in that manner.
Did Joe Biden win the election, Congresswoman Greene?
Joe Biden is the president of the United States.
Absolutely,
Marcus.
but you pushed a big lie that said he didn't win the election.
There was election fraud.
You drove those people to the Capitol on January 6th with your lie.
We're going to move on. Josh Rowe, it's your turn to ask
and my
a question
husband has
to
proof
Marjorie
of it.
Taylor Greene.
We have FOIA evidence.
Her husband just left.
Excuse me. We're ready to move on to the next question for you.
He's not going to accuse me of a crime.
Would you like your question? Would you like your question?
Yes, ma'am, I would. Thank you.
Come on, Karen.
There's a crisis in your district tonight. I'm going to lay this down as quickly as I can here. The future of the DACA program is in jeopardy in the courts. You have a bill that would eliminate DACA. You said this on Twitter 10 days ago. A plan must be developed, and that's an accurate statement, right? I talked to one of the state reps there in Dalton this week, Republican. He tells me that if DACA goes away, 10% of the labor force in Dalton also would go away. A huge part of the economic engine in your district, right? You got people who live in every county in your district who work in Dalton, get a paycheck there, take that money back to those other counties, buy homes, pay taxes, goods and services. So, and I also asked, what happens if DACA goes away? What happens in Dalton? He said, devastated. So tonight, be clear with your district. What actually happens if DACA goes away, and then what is your plan?
Well, Josh, first and foremost, I swore an oath to the Constitution, and I represent the citizens of the United States of America, not DACA recipients. And I also represent our district that believes in strong borders. We've had over 5 million people illegally invade the United States of America since Joe Biden became president. Fentanyl is now the #1 cause of death in young people from 18 to 45, and they are using Narcan every single day in Northwest Georgia, which, by the way, is not next to the border of Mexico.
Question.
Because of this border crisis, it has caused a human security crisis like we've never seen before. Joe Biden and his administration is the greatest business partner to the Mexican cartels that we have ever seen in United States history. The only thing that I'm going to do to represent Northwest Georgia and Georgia's 14th district and the workers and the businesses there is to legislate and vote so that they have a strong economy, They have job opportunities that will not be stolen by people that are illegally invading our country to steal their jobs. I know the representative you're talking about is probably Casey Carpenter, who seems to be more interested in representing illegal aliens than the legal citizens of Northwest Georgia.
She didn't answer the question.
Your time is up. John, your question for Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Ms. Greene, since taking office on January 3rd, 2021, what is the one specific accomplishment solely on behalf of the 14th Congressional District that is most important to you?
Well, I tell you what, it's been hard to pass any bills in a Democrat-controlled, Nancy Pelosi-controlled House of Representatives.
Y'all watch Nanette.
A Senate that is controlled by one vote with Kamala Harris as
I got
the
my eye on her
Democrat
too.
vice president, and a White House that is controlled by Democrats, Joe Biden. Now,
whatever.
what we've done to accomplish things for Northwest
with a blue
Georgia,
circle
I'm
with the
proud to be
N
able
in
to
the
bring
middle.
in money via grants to help our local sheriff's department and help local businesses there. We've also worked very hard with the flooding that happened over in Somerville. And so we've worked hand in hand with officials there and look forward to helping them more as damages and amounts of money come out. So I'm very excited to vote and to introduce bills that uphold the conservative traditional values of the people in my district, and I'll continue to do that.
All right, Josh, you get the final question. Did you have a rebuttal?
Yeah, I didn't hear an answer there.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, Representative Greene said she's passed all these bills and brought money into our district. Well, you haven't. You know,
no, I voted no to Joe Biden's radical Democrat bills, Marcus.
Don't necessarily come from Congresswoman Greene.
Hold on.
People write grants for their organizations to get government money. That is competitive.
No, you're
if we had a congresswoman who was walking those grants through,
what?
But Congresswoman Greene, she can't take credit for good things that happen while our people suffer.
Marcus, we're going to give you your last question. Josh, you get the final question from Marcus Flowers.
Mr. Flowers,
I don't understand how
you said it here tonight that the voters in Northwest Georgia want a different member of Congress. You've said that. You made that clear. But the numbers in the primary tell a different story. And to be clear, numbers processed by local election workers in Georgia and reported by the Georgia Secretary of State. She received 30,000 more votes this primary than 2 years ago. If you take your votes, all your Democratic challengers' votes, all of her challengers' votes, she still had 13,000 more votes than everybody else running. What evidence can you provide, other than anecdotal, that the voters in Northwest Georgia want a change?
Josh, it's not an anecdote that not everyone votes in a primary and a midterm. That's not anecdotal. In the last election cycle, more than 75,000 people voted against Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, we brought people in from every corner of the district, newly registered people. And I've talked to, it doesn't matter if it's a Republican, independent, or Democrat. I've talked to everybody. And everybody that I talk to, Republicans come up to me every day with tears in their eyes saying, please, get rid of Marjorie Taylor Greene.
You need to talk to your fellow people.
She truly doesn't. And I've heard this time and time again across the board.
Good morning.
A primary is not a general election.
Lupus, good morning.
I guarantee you,
gentlemen, what you're hearing,
in the primary,
Marcus Flowers,
you will see
who's a man who wears a hat and doesn't own one single head of cattle. He's a liar.
What?
And all he has done is sent emails all over the country to raise money for himself, and he pays himself out of his campaign with your donation dollars. If you're a California Democrat sending money to Marcus Flowers, he's paying himself to run for Congress.
It doesn't matter if he wears a hat or not. Who cares?
None of his Democrat defund the police, America Last policies represent our district, and I do.
Well, I'll tell you what. I do
well, we need to really move on because we are so far behind. That concludes the first round of the debate. The candidates will now ask a question to their opponents. Each candidate will have 30 seconds to ask the question, 60 seconds to respond, and the candidate who asks the question will have 30 seconds for a rebuttal. Now, by random selection, Marjorie Taylor Greene, you may ask the first question.
Absolutely. Marcus, you're a father, and you are a representative of the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party is the party of child abuse. It's the party that represents grooming children and sexualizing them in school, teaching anti-white racism in the terms of CRT education, and genital mutilation of kids that can't even get a driver's license, can't get a tattoo, and cannot vote. How do you stand there and represent the Democrat Party as a father? And do you believe in genital mutilation of children under the age of 18? taking and these puberty blockers that have severe health consequences.
This the QAnon coming out.
I've introduced a bill to ban it and make it a felony.
And his job right there is to allow her to be crazy.
Do you stand by that?
Boy, that was a lot. And God bless you, Marjorie Taylor Greene. If you truly believe that I'm praying for you.
Oh!
You know, I believe in this country. I believe in our democracy. And I believe in standing up to human rights. People come up to me every day and tell me how they feel attacked by you. And yes, I'm talking about children and our LGBTQ plus community. Every day, Congresswoman Greene. Seniors, Latinos, blacks, men and women, every day. This is how she treats the people of Northwest Georgia and the people of America. Attacks, constantly attacking. That's not representative, Greene. You represent them.
I do. I represent and I will always protect children. And that's why I introduced the Protect Children's Innocent Act, to protect children who just may be confused about their identity. Kids need to grow up. They do not need to have mastectomies, castration, or take dangerous drugs that have serious health consequences. Marcus Flowers represents the Democrat Party, and the Democrat Party is the party of child abuse. And we have to stand up and stop it right now. To protect children, we protect them from making serious mistakes that will last a lifetime. The same mistakes and regrets that many, many D-trans people have right now.
Extreme examples and lies is what Marjorie Taylor Greene is doing, trying to misrepresent me.
That's the time on this. I really need you all to follow up. 30 seconds for a question, 30-second rebuttal. Please don't talk over each other because that really slows us down. All right, Marcus, your question.
Congresswoman Greene, I left my job as a government official to run this race because of January 6th and your part in it. My granddaddy was a sheriff. My uncles were police captains, one of whom who was injured in the line of duty. You know, you spent your time in Congress these last couple of years providing aid and comfort to the January 6th insurrectionists. My question for you is, why do you care more about those criminals in jail than you do about the people of our district?
You want to know something? I care about stopping the two-tier justice system that is happening right now in America. I was a victim of the January 6th riot, and I've said it over and over again. I'm completely against what happened on January 6th.
Oh, you're a liar!
And watch Merrick Garland turn the Department of Justice into a political weapon, and the FBI sending it after parents that are addressing their school boards, people that walked in the Capitol and have been held in jail for nearly 2 years, while Antifa and BLM rioters go free are never held accountable. I will always stand up for freedom, defend our freedom of speech, defend our Second Amendment, and defend everyone's ability to live the American dream. That's what I care about, and I truly care about representing those values and those abilities and freedoms for Georgia's 14th District.
So what I'm hearing is criminals over police officers. That's what I heard.
Mm-hmm. You're the party of defund the police, Marcus. Not
you defund the police. That's rich, Congresswoman Greene.
We fund
defund the FBI shirts and what you're selling, making money off.
Yes, the FBI that is targeting.
We're going to cut their mic in just a minute because that concludes our second round. For those just joining us,
Marcus Flowers is on it.
General election between candidates for Congressional District 14. We will now go back to our esteemed panel to ask questions to the candidate of their choice until we run out of time. As a point of moderator privilege, I may also ask a question of the candidates, and I'll determine when a rebuttal is appropriate. Josh Rowe, you will get the first question in this round.
Come on.
All right, it's to Marjorie Taylor Greene there. You're well known for making controversial statements. Detail your process for vetting and fact-checking your statements that you make in public and post to social media.
Can you tell me what's controversial about defending the freedom of speech, or what's controversial about defending our border, or saying we need to? Can you tell me? Give me an example.
No, you do this every time we have a debate where I ask a question that's obvious, and you're like, "What? You mean you were kicked off of your committees for saying things were controversial? You've apologized for controversial statements, right? Those types of things. What is your process for fact-checking and vetting the things that you say in public?"
The things I say in public are the truth, and that's why they're so offensive to Democrat activists in the media just like you. And you're asking me a blanket question with no example. I stand by the things that I say. I stand by saying that we need to secure our border, that we need to protect all of our freedoms and our rights, that we need to stop the America Last Democrat communist policies that are destroying our country. I stand by the words that I say. They're just offensive to Washington, D.C. and the swamp creatures there, because the words that I speak are the same as Americans back home, the same as people in Georgia's 14th district. And the words that I speak are the truth. And you want to know something, Josh? Sometimes the truth hurts, and Washington deserves to hear it. We're over $31 trillion in debt.
Right.
Our government has failed the American people. And right now, this administration has us on the verge of a nuclear war with Russia, where they care more about funding a war in Ukraine than they care about protecting Americans, helping homeless people on the streets, and securing our border and stopping fentanyl from killing young people in America.
John, it's your turn to ask a question.
Thank you very much. Let's bring this back to reality and also bring this back to the 4th Congressional District. The I-75 corridor, gentlemen and ladies, right now is red hot with more than $600 million in new developments, 7.6 million square feet of new warehouses and industry planned in Gordon County. What proactive steps, both candidates, would you take to ensure that in Congress we have the infrastructure to safely support both this new growth and the additional safety concerns raised by these trucks and cars?
When you're busy dealing with groceries,
he said, let's bring this back to reality.
You missed that, didn't you? With Walmart
I'm sorry, y'all. We can't get around
delivers and puts away your groceries, whether you're home or not. Bye. No tips, no markups, no worries.
Who's first?
That's the question.
Can I take that?
Yes, sir.
I'll take
both candidates the question.
Yeah. Thank you, John. That is a big issue in our district, our infrastructure, and supporting new business and growth. And I've talked to mayors and city council members all over our district. We are actually losing companies coming into our district because we can't support it, because we don't have the housing, because we don't have the roads, because we don't have the water and the schools to support those districts. Dalton's is a bright star in our community, but there's so many others, and I will work day and night tirelessly to make sure that we have the infrastructure to support all of the companies who want to come into beautiful Northwest Georgia and provide us with great jobs. We're leading in energy here in Georgia. As a matter of fact, we have the largest solar manufacturing plant in the Western Hemisphere in Dalton. But some of those jobs need to be dispersed throughout the district, and I want to make sure of that. Congresswoman Greene, she's too busy flying around the country. She spent $37,000 in the last quarter alone on flights all over the country. She spends too much time in New York, Bedminster, Florida, Michigan, Arizona, Texas. She's never here in our district.
Time, and you've named her, so you get to respond?
Yes, I will respond to that. Marcus has never been a business owner and knows nothing about business. He's never signed the front of a paycheck, so it's hard for him to even comprehend how to do that. He supports the Democrat Party, the party of the Green New Deal, the party of destroying American energy independence, which is the #1 need for manufacturing companies in my district. And by the way, Calhoun is in Gordon County, not Dalton. That's Whitfield County. You don't know anything about our district. I do. I am going to work very hard to lower inflation and also open up many opportunities for businesses growing and developing in Northwest Georgia. And I'm so excited to be a part of that. Now, can I take my question?
That's the time. Well, we're going on Josh. You can ask a question.
Okay. This is for both of you. Let's start with Marcus Flowers. Our problems in this country are big. And way too often, our conversations around these problems are way too small. A lot of criticizing, a lot of finger-pointing in this conversation. What do you both offer that can help unify this country? Let's start with Marcus Flowers.
Absolutely. Honor, decency, and integrity. 3 core values that Marjorie Taylor Greene does not have. We've heard a lot from her, and she's good. She is good at spouting off utter nonsense that has absolutely nothing to do with what's going on in our district. I guarantee you, Georgia, if you allow me to be your next congressman, I will work day and night for you. Constituent services, something that you're not getting right now. Our mayors, our city council members, they'll have a seat at the table in D.C. Their needs will be met. Right now, I can tell you, I've talked to a lot of them. They haven't heard from Marjorie Taylor Greene.
May I have a rebuttal?
Yes, you may. And then your question, and I will let you go back to answer the infrastructure question as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You have no right to attack the hardworking people in my constituent services. They do a phenomenal job, and you know nothing about their hard work because they have served the constituents in Northwest Georgia over and over. So I will not have you attack them. They love their jobs. They love serving and helping people, and that is wrong, and you owe them an apology. You owe them an apology, my constituent services.
Why don't you list your offices on your website?
This is my rebuttal. Karen?
I'm looking for time for the rebuttal.
Thank you. Thank you. So that's my rebuttal. Do not attack the people that work in our office.
And go on with you can answer the question.
Thank you very much. As a member of Congress that is very much looking forward to Republicans taking back the House in January, I'm excited to talk about the commitment to America. The commitment to America is going to provide an economy that is strong. We are going to provide a nation that is safe. We are going to provide a future that is free, and we are very excited to hold government accountable. That means on oversight and through investigations, and I am very much looking forward to being a part of that and taking my place on committees. I will work very hard to do two things. Number one, investigate wrongdoing and hold them accountable. Number two, work hard within my conference and within all of Congress to legislate and produce bills that do these great things for a Republican commitment to America.
Y'all, we're supposed to be taking this seriously.
Infrastructure question. Yes, I'm in the construction company. So infrastructure is something I understand, and being a business owner for over 20 years, that's something I know how to do. What we're going to do for infrastructure is make sure America is energy independent, support fossil fuels, stop funding failing green energies. Wind only supplies 9% of electricity, and then solar is less than 3%, but fossil fuels are over 60%, and nuclear is nearly 20%. It's extremely important. What we also have to do is we have to fund actual infrastructure.
When she's not taking it
Biden's
seriously,
infrastructure bill was actually about the Green New Deal and not about roads and bridges.
All right, we are going to move on now to closing statements because we have used up a lot of our time. That's all the time we have for the questions. Each candidate now will have 60 seconds for that closing statement. And Marcus Flowers,
okay, we're on closing statement,
y'all.
She ain't answered not one question, and she lied.
As was suggested earlier, I am running as Marcus Flowers, not Marjorie Taylor Greene. Listen, I'm the son of a teacher, the grandson of a sheriff. I'm a veteran. I'm a father. I'm a member of this community. I've traveled this district for the last 2 years, and I've talked to people from every walk of life in every corner of our district. And what I hear from them is they want a representative who will work for them. This isn't about Republicans or Democrats. Ladies and gentlemen, this is about right and wrong. This is about chaos versus stability. This is about us. I want you to go in starting tomorrow and vote for right or wrong. Georgia, we have to decide what we want in our seat. Do we want a show horse, or do we want a workhorse who's going to get things done for us? God bless you, and thank you.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, you got the final closing statement.
Well, you just heard from my Democrat opponent that usually wears a cowboy hat but doesn't ride a horse and doesn't own any cattle. Thank cowboys. You know, you might be an extra on Yellowstone when you get done with this career.
That's a good question.
Northwest Georgia, Georgia's 14th district, I want to thank you first and foremost for voting for me and putting your trust in me to represent you in Washington. And no matter how many people lie about me, like my Democrat opponent, people in the media, or anybody on the internet, I want you to know that I will stand up to these attacks and never change how I vote and how I legislate. You elected me to go to Washington to fight for your conservative traditional values, to bring fiscal responsibility back to Washington, which I know how to do because I'm a successful business owner, and also to protect your kids. That's my number one priority because I'm a mom of 3 kids. So I want to ask you again for your vote. Early voting starts tomorrow. Election day is November 8th. Make sure you bring your friends and your family. Go out and vote for me, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and it'd be an honor of my lifetime to go back in January and represent you again. Thank you very much.
And that concludes our debate. We'd like to remind voters that, as both candidates said, Election Day is Tuesday, November 8th, and early voting begins October 17th. Our thanks to the candidates and to our esteemed panel of journalists. We'd also like to thank the Atlanta Press Club for arranging today's debate. For more information about the debates they'll host this election season, visit atlantapressclub.org/debates. I'm Karen Greer from WSB TV. Thanks for joining us on Press Club Loudermilk Young Debate Series.
Karen looks good. Hold on, y'all, and I'll switch the camera around. If I can figure it out. Nope. Hold on. I don't know how to switch the camera around, y'all. So, listen. I'm in Georgia, if you guys don't know. I'm not in Marjorie Taylor Greene and Marcus Flowers' district, but I have been donating to Marcus Flowers' campaign, hoping that he will win. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for him to win in that district because it is white populated, Christian populated, and I won't necessarily say racist, but they just all of these years have supported Republican candidates. It is true that Marcus Flowers has been out in the community. It is true he is stomping around the city every day, all day. Marjorie Taylor Greene is not. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she doesn't have very many videos of her interacting with the community, out talking to the people, listening to the people. She doesn't even have an office where people can come into, a campaign office. She does not have that. She has done many stunts to try to knock Marcus Flowers off of his game, showed up with her goons at his campaign office on a few occasions. He wasn't there. Why? Because he was out in the community, talking with the community, listening to his constituents in the community. Marjorie Taylor Greene is out doing stunts if she's in the community. Most of the time you see her on her podcast talking shit, spewing hate, inciting violence. She's always on her Twitter account spewing hate, inciting violence. If you're spending all of your time on podcasts, at Donald Trump's rallies, hanging out with Matt Gaetz, when are you in the community listening to your constituents? Furthermore, Marjorie Taylor Greene has done nothing since she's been in Congress. She's been banned from committees. She's done absolutely nothing. That's why she has the time to be gallivanting all across the country at this person's campaign rally and that person's campaign rally. She does nothing. She does nothing. She's an absolute joke. And I want you to pay attention. None of them are giving you a specific plan for what it is that they plan to do for their constituents, because they have none. And the one that they have put on paper, they want to ignore it. They don't want you to know that it exists. I talked about it. The Republicans' 12-point plan. I've got a full video over on my YouTube channel going through their 12-point plan. But they won't publicly campaign on it because they know it will get them booted out. But it is there. Pay attention to it. Rick Scott put it together. And it's so bad. And it's so damning that Mitch McConnell was pissed when Rick Scott put it out. It's on my YouTube channel, Tabitha Speaks Politics. Go find the video. Educate yourself on what is in that plan and what it is that they are trying to do. I also went over the plan that they have for Texas. And it's very similar. They are using some of the same language that they have in that 12-point plan. It doesn't have to be about specifically Marjorie Taylor Greene or Herschel Walker. They are all one. They are all saying the same thing, and they are not providing you with a specific plan. Hell, one of them up in Congress came out and said, put us in office and we'll tell you exactly what we're going to do. No. Have you ever purchased a home without looking at it? Have you ever bought a car without test driving it? If they can't tell you what their plan is, I don't care if it's Georgia, Florida, Texas, Arizona, I don't care. If they can't specifically tell you what their plan is for Georgia or Arizona or Florida, do not vote for them. There's a reason why they're not telling you what their plans are. That's all I got, y'all. It was fun because, I mean, it wasn't a serious debate. For as much as Marcus Flowers tried to be serious in his responses and holding Marjorie Greene accountable and pointing out her flaws, we should say, she is a show horse. She's a circus clown. And y'all just went with it with all of the the fruitcake hat and the cowboy hat. Y'all just made it fun. Thank y'all for watching it with me. I will, once this does its thing here on TikTok, I will download it and re-upload it over on YouTube if you guys want to see and hear all of the craziness that went on while we watched it. But she's one of many. Marjorie Taylor Greene is one of many. And what you see in Marjorie Taylor Greene, she just is not able to control her lunacy. So you saw it on full display. Full display. Marcus Flowers was like, wow, that was a lot. And then the one guy said, well, let's bring this back to reality because she is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Period. All of that, you saw her on her full QAnon conspiracy theory rabbit display. Okay. Now, the rest of them may be able to control themselves. But I guarantee you, Marjorie Taylor Greene does what she does all across the country because they allow her to do that. All right, y'all. Voting day starts today. Early voting for my people here in Georgia. Today is October 17th. I'm not going out to vote today, but I promise you I will get my vote in. And I will be voting for Raphael Warnock. I love y'all. I'll see y'all throughout the day. Stuff will be popping off. Y'all take care of yourselves. Later.